Greetings everybody. I really had to take a little extra time getting ready for this video, especially putting on my makeup, using stuff that I normally don't use, because this is very important. So I'm doing these videos for the ladies, for the women, and for the young girls, young black women, young women around the world, really, all women. But I'm reaching out to Jamaican women in this, hence the Jamaican colors. I'm a proud African woman. I'm a proud Jamaican woman. It goes without saying. And when I see the sisters out there, doing the things that are important to them, charting their own terrain, showing the world that we are powerful, I support that. And when I see women doing things that I think, they would be better off without doing, sometimes I nudge. There are times when I've showed prejudice, because we're all prejudiced human beings, so sometimes we do and say things about other females because we think if we shame them they might stop. But you can't shame anybody. If you want people to change, you have to meet them where they're at, and you have to show respect. Nobody's listening to any disrespectful person. So before I go any further, excuse me, I have very sensitive skin, people, and so I have allergies. So if you see me touching my face, that's what I'm dealing with. Big up yourself, Mr. Vegas. I am a big fan of Mr. Vegas, and truthfully, I'm not going to come out here online and say, yeah, I was a big Vegas fan in terms of his music. I didn't really pay much attention to Vegas music, but I pay attention to him as a person who advocates for his people. Long before anybody else was, he was advocating for dancehall. He was teaching dancehall people how to take the music as business. I always say that. I'm a huge fan of Mr. Vegas because I see him taking turns. I'm seeing him taking his experiences and using those experiences to grow, to learn, and to grow. And a lot of people don't know that side of him. So now he's delving into his Africanness, if I can call it that, and is moving, which is what most of us are going to end up doing, moving toward understanding ourselves as black people. And a lot of people in Jamaica, they're not ready for that, because they're of the Christian mindset. And so, this thing that was passed down through slavery, they don't want to let it go. They hold on to it firm. Now I gotta do this in two parts, because I don't want to make this one too long, and I really want to address the women in this one before I take part two. Now, it's about Mr. Vegas going to church, and I don't care how he got there, why he was there. I just know he was there, and I witnessed with my, well, I can't witness with my ears, I saw with my own eyes some individuals throwing him off stage, taking him out of the church, physically removing him from the church. And I got a problem with that, okay? Because black people around the world tend to be dragged and kicked and pushed around at will. And I don't want to see that happening in my own country. And I definitely don't want to see that happening from the hand of other black people. So this Jennings man was in church, and I have to listen to, see if I can get a hold of the whole thing. But from the clips that I've seen, throwing out Vegas because Vegas appeared to be having an opposing argument. When this Jennings, an American black man, and Jennings, I'm talking to you in this video as well, because you are a slave. You have the mentality of a slave. You knew nothing about Jesus that you profess to have. You know nothing about him. And people who understand the Bible and who have read the Bible see what you've done. You are one of those individuals they call the Pharisees. You're Pharisees, Jennings. Get the hell out of Jamaica and go back to the plantation where you can get your butt kicked and slapped around every day. We have enough misogyny in Jamaica. We don't need any more, okay? So you can take your butt, and I'm saying hashtag get Jennings out of Jamaica. Hashtag throw him out. Hashtag empty his church. Because my sisters, my mothers, my grandmothers, my great-grandmothers, and my little sisters don't need, and the brothers too, the little boys don't need to hear this kind of argument. Now this man's argument is that if a woman wears makeup, I made sure I put on mine this morning. If a woman put on her makeup, or if she wears weave, or if she wears fake nail, she's a whore. She's a whore. And I can guarantee you, even though I wasn't there, that 99% of the people who were there that day would have been women. Little girls, teenage girls, older women. And for them to be subjected to that, people wear different things for different reasons. And perhaps if the church is against those things, the church can break that down in a way that people are feel respected and want to change if it is necessary for them to change. They don't need to hear a black man looking at his black sisters and telling them that they're whores because of what they wear. Excuse me, Mr. Jennings, you are a whore. You're a whore. You're the white man's whore because you're spreading message to our community, talking about things, about your own women, subjecting your women to these kinds of abuse, when white men are now telling the world, we are loving our women, we're celebrating our women, and no matter what the woman wears, no matter what the white woman wears, no matter what she does or what she says, she has a right to change her mind, and she has a right to do whatever she wants to do. If the white woman wants to go out wearing half nude clothes, nobody has a right to rape her, Mr. Jennings. So nobody has a right to rape the black woman with their words like you have in your filthy speech. Jamaican women, I see you, a lot of you, not all of you, but I see a lot of you. I see how empowered you are in attacking each other. I see how you got strength for each other. Now is your time to go there to that church and make sure that door is closed. Make sure Mr. Jennings packs his bag and go back where he came from, because we don't need no more misogyny in Jamaica. We got enough misogynists there. We have enough hate there from our men. We have enough disrespect there from our men. We don't need to take an American slave to Jamaica and have him speak to our girls, our young girls that way. Do you understand me? It's time for Jennings to go back to the plantation, the big house, because we don't want him in Jamaica. We don't want you there, Jennings. We want you out. Now, as far as I'm concerned, the Jesus he's trying to speak about never treated the real whore that way. When Mary Magdalene was taken in front of him and people were saying, let's stone her to death, he bent down and he said, any of you without sin, let's cast the first stone. So if we're really talking about real whores here, who are you, Jennings? You are the bigger whore, because you are out there telling lies and scamming people. You're not a Christian in the Christian sense of the word. You're not. You're a scammer. You're a criminal element, because no man of God, no man who really said that they're emulating and living and walking in the steps of Christ would speak to women that way. And no man who is walking in the steps of Christ, the figurative Christ in the Bible, would never treat a fellow who he disagrees with that way. So Jesus said, show the first stone. If you are without sin, they have to leave her alone. It was the whore that was catching water at the well who was able to take the message to the people and tell the people that Jesus, she met a man named Jesus, and that he told her about all her sins. It was who was the one who went and found out that the stone was rolled away. Where is this man coming from? You gotta realize that these individuals are imposters, okay? Jennings, you are a devil. You are a devil. You are a devil. You are a devil. You don't know the scriptures, because if you knew the scriptures, you would understand that Jesus walked with prostitutes and lames and the lame and the blind and the deaf and the people in society who were rejected. So even if the church was filled with whores, you had the opportunity to reach them, to reach out to them, to see their humanity and pull them to you. How dare you refer to my sisters as whores because of the external appearance? Even in the scriptures it says, render your heart and not your garment. Rend your heart, tear your heart, rend not tear your clothes, rend your heart and not your garment, because people would be ripping off their clothes to show how pious they were in the days. Man, get out of here, people. You need to read the Bible for yourself and understand what you're reading, so you don't have these, idiots come there to tell you all these garbage. This is why our women are the way they are. These are the messages I've been getting. And this is why a lot of black Americans are not dating black American men, not marrying black American men, because of this kind of thing, this kind of disrespect that they get from men regularly. All American men know, but too much of them speak this way against black women. Too many of our women would rather be by themselves and raise their kids by themselves than deal with these slaves, these broken, weak men. Bless up and big up all the strong black men in the world, black American, African, Jamaican, wherever you are, big up yourself. But those of you who are so lost in the sauce, those of you who have been so broken, we don't need no more of that brokenness in our country. To refer to our women as whores because of what they wear is very disrespectful, very sexist, very hateful. Miss Lisa Anna, where are you? Spice, I saw you guys. I saw you guys have woman empowerment. We needed to go into these churches and talk to these women. We don't want to be behind, you know, political walls or behind the dance hall walls. We wanted to go into the street and do real work. Big up yourself, Spice. Woman empowerment. You know, Spice, what it's like. What it's like for people to say negative things about you because of your appearance or because of how you are, because of the genre of music that you are in. So you know what prejudice feels like. And this man is prejudiced, and I'm trying to use self-control not to call him some names because he's still a brother. But he's a broken brother. And he's a scammer too. Now, what I want to say before I end this video is that anybody who claims that they're, you know, representing Christ, if they're not showing humility, if they're not humble, if they have this judgmental personality or attitude, you got to ignore them, pay no attention to them, because they're the ones with the most secret. They're the ones who should be in the closet. Okay? Because Christ, the Christ that he's talking about, was never prejudiced. The Christ that he's talking about abandoned the church, abandoned those places. He stayed away from those places, except when he was going there to question them, to cast out them and their demons. That Christ avoided that place. This is why I don't do church. And it's so strange that this is coming up now, because 2 weeks ago I did a video explaining why I don't do church. And I deleted it. I uploaded it, kept it private for a couple of days, because I was sensitive to the fact that there are a lot of people who are Christians. And I don't want people to think that I'm trying to be disrespectful and not understand your need for faith, because faith gets us through so much. And I deleted it for that reason, because it seemed like I'm always harping on it. But this is the point I'm trying to make. In that video, I was telling you why I didn't go to church anymore, because I witnessed a pastor that I actually liked threw out a girl, and I might have spoken about this before on my channel, threw out a young lady who said she had a message. They threw her out of the church and said she had demons. And I watched grown men, strong, burly men, listen to the direction of the pastor and grab that young lady, very tiny, you know, young lady, and throw out of the church. I had to be the one to say, excuse me, what are you doing? They said, we're calling the police. You're calling the police. This is a hospital for sick people. So if you think that, you know, something is wrong with her, you cast her out. I deleted that video because I just felt like people are not going to understand what I'm trying to say. Our women need positive energy and positive people around them. Okay? Black women suffer enough. We don't need to be suffering anymore from the hands of our black men. These topics get me very angry. They get me real mad. These topics make me angry. And make me, sometimes it affects my energy. Jennings, you're a fraud. Big up yourself, Vegas. I don't care what anybody says. What you have done is planted a seed in the mind of Jamaican people. And you have exposed them. You see, they're busy looking at what you're saying. They don't understand how emotional you got. Vegas, I'm telling you this. Marcus Garvey was in America. And he was making great moves. He was gathering the people, creating this amazing movement. But if you listen to some of his speeches, you hear them, black people, making a bunch of noise. When he's giving this speech, you wonder, what are they saying yes to? What are they clapping to? They're not listening. They're not very good listeners. Black people are not listening. They're not listening. They talk too much. They're not listening. They're not listening. So Marcus Garvey amassed all this great following, and one person lied on him, and that was it. They turned against Marcus Garvey. Many of them did. His own person. They relied on our own people. They always rely on our own people. This is why Jennings is there in Jamaica as part of a political ploy to keep the people dumb. To dumb them down, because if you're busy dumbing them down with lies and fables and tearing down their self-esteem and their self-worth, of course they're not going to be watching what's going on in the country. They're not going to see the real problems that are existing there and how they have the power to change those situations or those circumstances in their life. Jennings is a distraction, a state-paid employee. That's what he is, peddling lies, tricking people and getting very wealthy from it. My sisters in Jamaica, do not let him get away with this. Do not let him get away with this, because what you're essentially doing is telling the young girl that she's a whore, that she has no value. The Barbadian Prime Minister, recently elected, is a female, a proud black woman who spoke about how people made her feel uncomfortable wearing her natural hair because she chose not to dye her hair. But her speech was, this is me, but I respect all other women who love diversity, all other women who like to change things. I don't like weave, but I would not associate the wearing of weave to whoredom. How dare you? You got to go. You've got to go, because in America, where they brought you from as an enslaved person and have you there on the plantation picking cotton all these years, and now you got a little taste of freedom, and what do you do with it? What do you do with it? You go to another country where your brothers and your sisters are, and you get your big bully bad men. Jamaica, you're a disgrace, you know. You're a disgrace. Vegas, a son of the soil. And cops, Jamaican cops, I'm assuming, I don't know if they're Jamaican cops, but they choked him based on what I'm seeing or hearing. Or they threw Vegas. You need a lawyer. And don't be hiring any of these con artist lawyers. You need to get a good lawyer to deal with that situation. Continue talking, Vegas. Continue speak. Remember, after Marcus Garvey was deported to Jamaica, okay, and wanted to start a new party, understanding all that he learned, knowing how to share wealth and to grow wealth, they didn't listen to him. It was the Jamaican people, the politicians in Jamaica were not listening to him. Marcus Garvey left and went to England and died. He would rather die among the very people that he was trying to teach us how to deal with or work with or, you know, defend ourselves from. He died among them. So did Bob Marley. Bob Marley, I have to say it again, was shot in his own country by his own people. Let's just assume it was, maybe it's not. But at the end of the day, he left and went to Europe. It is a very sad case to see people are revolutionary fighters who stand up for black people, and at the end of the day, when you're in trouble, they abandon you. People stood there, ladies, you stood there. That's your son, that's your brother, that's your husband. And you watch this other Negro with this big bully criminal defense team. Which man of God, excuse me, which man of God requires all of that? That's a criminal. Only a person with a criminal mind needs so much people around them because they know they're not good. There's no church in Jamaica where a pastor is speaking and have to fear for his life. None. So for him to come there, he's a criminal. Ladies, hashtag get rid of Jennings. Get rid of Jennings out of Jamaica. Let him pack his bag and take his big burly men, because it's very obvious that he doesn't like women, that men is his thing, and if a man turn up him things, that's okay with us, but we don't have to be subjected to his abuse. If he wants the parts of a woman, it's not our fault that he's born without those parts. If he wants it, he can get it. This is the time we have now. Men are liberated to change their sexuality and their sex anytime they want. So women don't have to be subjected to their hate. Because any man who speaks like that against a woman obviously is jealous of her, is envious of the black woman. I'll be back. Once again, big up yourself, Vegas. Many of the people are going to condemn you. They're going to say bad things about you. Do not take it to heart. Understand that they're ignorant. I'm not going to say dunce because that wouldn't be fair, because opportunity is what create, you know, open doors for many people. And many of our people are not educated because they are poor, you know, so-called third world countries subjected to all kinds of forces, external and internal. But the ignorance is there, and they're closed-minded. They love to hold on to the things that they have because they have so little. They've lost so much. They've lost their heritage, they've lost their names, they've lost their identity. So holding on to Christianity for them is going to be something that they are going to die with and die for. And anything and anyone who's coming to beat them to subjection and bring them down to the bottom of the earth to make them feel like less than, they're going to love those individuals. So Jennings is one of those persons that these women probably love. But ladies, listen to what he said to you in your face. It wasn't a third party relay. He told you that to your face, and do something about it. And don't you dare set foot back in that church. Let him stay in that church with the men. Stay in the church with the men, and Vegas, continue to disturb them. Continue to stir the waters, and don't listen to haters. Don't listen to people who are dunce. Don't listen to people who are stuck. They're stuck, and you have to dig out some of them, and some of them, when by the time you dig them out, they're in pieces, they're dead. You have to just leave them stuck. Lisa Anna, Spice, and all the women in Jamaica who claim that you are for women and that you're empowered. Lisa Anna, this one is for you. You better do something about this, okay? Because you might think it is trivial. It's not trivial. And as women, you gotta protest. All the other women in the world are now standing up and saying they're holding men accountable for their actions, not just what they do, but what they say as well. Me too. If you're gonna use it, a black woman started that, to say that, you know, as black women, we get red too. Some people hijack that and take it away and running with it now, and you see black men getting wiped left, right, and center. Well, me too. Jennings got to go. What he said to our women and our girls in that church is part of that Me Too movement. Get rid of him. And Vegas, get a lawyer. Be blessed, everyone.